New jeans. New Chongbaji. The youngest member is 14 years old. Baby Monster, a new group formed by YG. The youngest member in that group is a 13-year-old. There's starting to be a noticeable trend of idols getting younger and younger. And when I first originally sat down to make this video, I was just gonna be like, that's bad. But I like to figure out why I think things. So I was trying to get into it and I was like, well, why is it bad? Now for me, anything under 17 is gonna be a no in terms of like having a bias. It just feels weird to me. Insert TikTok of a guy being like, he feels uncomfortable and he's like, yeah, I bias new jeans. And one of the members is literally a child and he feels very uncomfortable because he's a grown man. So are the idols getting younger and younger bad? Is this bad? Like I said before, when I originally sat down to make this video, I was just gonna be like, yep. But the more I thought about this video and was sitting down to outline it, I was genuinely about to scrap this video because I was like, I want there to be a conclusion for all of my videos when I sit down and I make these videos about K-pop, because I don't think there's any point in making a YouTube video about something so many people have made videos about, or making a YouTube video about something when you're not having anything to say. And I make these videos in order to educate the people watching or to educate myself. I also started to think about child actors. I grew up on Disney. I grew up on Nick. Why do I not have a problem or not feel weird when I'm like, oh yeah, Miley Cyrus was a child actor. Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Britney Spears started acting when they were like 5 or some crazy shit. 5, 8, 10. Why am I like, that's not bad, or I don't feel weird about that, but I feel weird about this? And then the RM interview came out.
Things change, people change, everything.
And he brought up the same points that I was thinking about as to why when I make this video or made this video, I wasn't just gonna have the conclusion of being like, oh, it's just bad. So I still want to voice my concerns. When I first was just going to make this video without thinking of the other point of view, because I do have concerns, they're still there, and some of these things are genuine fucking concerns. I'll give my first concern, which I was scared of happening, which unfortunately fucking happened. Cookie by New Jeans was exactly what I was fucking scared of. This is the exact thing that I didn't want to happen, and it fucking happened. I was there. I was there when New Jeans debuted. I actually remember learning Attention, the dance, the day it came out. And I was talking about this, where I was like, okay, all of them at the time of debut were underage. So what can you sing about? School, Delta Math, the mall, friendships, and liking boys. The most liking boys, a hug, a kiss. That's it. I don't want them to be singing about drinking. I don't want them to be singing about drugs. I don't want them to be singing about adult things, because none of them are fucking adults. Because none of them are adults. That line came out bad. The youngest one is 14. What are we singing about? What are we singing about? I just gave you math. And then Cookie comes out. The lyrics are so obviously about sex and your vagina, your hoo-ha. They're the lyrics. And the fact that they knew that something was going to be interpreted in a different way because the song is about sex. So they had the underage children, the underage teenagers, try and be like, oh, this is what Cookie's about. This is what it's about. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. You cannot sit here and you cannot lie to my face and come up with some bullshit and expect me to believe it. I'm not stupid. What do you mean? All of these lyrics are so incredibly sus. I'm sorry, you cannot fucking sit here and tell me that. What the fuck? What else is it supposed to be about? I genuinely tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I really did. But sitting here and reading these lyrics, girl, what the fuck? Tried to do damage control, but let's cut the bullshit, okay? You're having underage girls sing about this, and it's fucking disgusting. I really want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because this is a big claim. Adding on to this entire thing about Cookie, because I really don't like to come on here and just in general make incredibly huge claims about people like saying they're racist or saying they're homophobic, because those words are very big words. And I think a lot of people, especially just, I don't even want to say my generation. Yes, my generation, but because of the internet, people have been more comfortable throwing around words when they don't realize that these words carry a lot of meaning. So for me to sit here and be like, they wrote this song or they made these girls, these underage girls perform this song, which is riddled with sexual innuendos. Let's say that the word cookie, the slang for cookie, isn't big in anywhere else but America. Cool. They were not using it in the way the screenshot I just put up of like, oh, I'm a tough cookie. There are so many different well, not so many, but there are different ways you can use the word cookie. Cause right, if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a tough cookie, I'm not gonna be like, oh, sex? No, I'm a tough cookie. Like, I'm a tough girl. I can handle anything. But no, it wasn't written that way. They wrote it in a very fucking specific way. So these screenshots of people being like, I saw on Reddit being like, oh, I'm from Australia, and like I didn't know, I've never heard of the word cookie used like that. That's fine. That's great. Because right, I'm Americanized, bitch. I'm from America. So of course I'm Americanized. So I can understand if, you know, that word, which is incredibly big over here, and a bunch of fucking rap songs and songs in general can, you know, be described or used different ways. Like the word pig, apparently in Korea or South Korea, apparently, according to like comments I've seen, is pig in America. There's not, calling somebody a pig, that's not a good thing. So my surprise when I first found out about Stray Kids and like Changbin and pig, I was like, wait, what the fuck? A lot of Americans were like, why? And still feel a little weird, right? Because different words mean different things. Wow, crazy. But somebody who commented being like, I didn't know that that word meant that slang. However, I still felt uncomfortable because the way they were using that word. You want to sit here and you want to write a fucking disgusting ass song, and instead of passing it to another group that are full of adults, bitch, if G Idol is singing here, you want my cookie? Hell fucking yeah. You know why? Because you're a grown ass woman and you're legal. You're not 14, you're not 15. You didn't just freshly turn 18. You weren't 17. We don't do this shit here. It was the fact that you can, so yes, you can sit here and argue and be like, well, you know, Korea, maybe they don't use that word that way. But how was the song written? What was the context of the song? Because they could have said cupcake. I still would have had a problem. There still would have been a problem. Because you being like, oh, you want my cupcake? You wanna taste it? You wanna eat it? But what the fuck else? What else is that supposed to be? They're not actually talking about a cookie. They're not actually talking about a cookie. Do you know why I know? Because there was a lot of I in that sentence. More the lyrics. There was more I. No. No. And let's not pretend that South Korea is stupid. They have sexual innuendos. Red Velvet has a song called Cookie Jar. And a lot of the lyrics are, put your hand in the cookie jar. Do I feel weird listening to that song? No. Do you know why? Because the Red Velvet are adults. Adults have sex. We're not going to sit here and sexualize teenagers. Underage teenagers. That is my fucking problem. Also, I am not at any point hating on New Jeans because a lot of fucking K-pop fans, once again, think it's all fucking black and white. And if I say I don't like a BTS song, that means I fucking hate BTS and want them to fucking disband. No. Obviously, even more since they're underage, they probably don't have a say in a lot of the shit they do. So the reason why there was such an uproar and the reason why I feel so passionate about this is because I'm fucking concerned for these teenage girls. I'm incredibly concerned for these teenage girls, and thinking about this I'm so concerned for these girls. Also, the fact that Red Velvet has that song proves they know what the fuck it is in Korea. The K-pop industry specifically, because a lot of these writers fucking bounce around. So what the fuck is your excuse? You don't have one. The second concern that I have, the reason why I'm like, oh, well, why do I not feel as much concern about like child actors on Disney, but I feel more concern of the same age teenagers being K-pop idols. Because idol training is incredibly rigorous. We fucking know this shit already. And I'm just a little more concerned when you have a 14-year-old or a 11-year-old, 12-year-old dealing with this shit, a 15-year-old dealing with this shit. Because you hear adults or people older dealing with this, and then the fact that it's like a child that's dealing with this is scary to me. Another reason why I'm concerned is because K-pop standards. The standard in idol world, at least from the outside looking in, is being skinny. There's an idol and she's not even overweight. She's just not a twig. So people call her fat and we're bullying her. I also watched the Les Harifim documentary, and one of the members started crying because the company was bringing up concerns about how they should like eat less or some shit. And then they started crying because what the fuck? One, what the fuck? And two, they're already like working hard on losing weight and shit. Bro, losing weight to be skinny should not be your concern. You should lose weight to be healthy. I feel like dieting is a very slippery slope because people diet for aesthetics. Being skinny does not equal being healthy. You should want to diet to be healthy. Healthy does not equal skinny. I see this a lot, and there was obviously years ago, but I don't want a 14-year-old going through this shit. I don't want a 14-year-old thinking or hearing her team tell her, or a 15-year-old, whatever, hearing their team tell them, well, you should lose weight. It's like, I'm 14. That's not my concern right now. My concern is to be healthy. I don't want a 14, 15-year-old heading down an incredibly slippery slope of being skinny, all that shit. Also, something that I've seen within K-pop fandom, why are we so comfortable talking about people's bodies? Like, I don't, if you don't find a problem with this, fine. I just think it's a little weird. I came across a TikTok and it was like going over like the before and after specific measurements of like an idol's chest, waist, arm circumference, all that shit. I've never seen that before until I come across K-pop, and I don't know. I think it's weird. If you have a fucking 14 and 15-year-old, I just feel like we shouldn't be keeping measurements. I don't know. And then on top of that, K-pop idol. Idol? That's a very big word that carries a lot of weight, especially for a child. Another reason why I'm concerned is because of the stories and experiences that I've heard from idols. But then I started thinking, should I be taking the stories and bad experiences I've heard from years ago and be implementing them into today? This leads into the fact that this isn't all black and white. And that's I think a theme that I've made with a lot of my K-pop videos. It's not just this or that. I definitely think that they're treated way better. I can confidently say, well, I don't want to say confidently say, but I can go out on a limb and I think I can say that the idols now are treated better than they were in like 2010 or 2014 in terms of where they are living, in terms of going to therapy, which RM touched on, which I will also talk about. And also, I definitely think having a K-pop group with more underaged or all underage members versus all members that are of age and older, the responsibilities are probably a little different. In terms of the underage group, there's probably way more responsibility on the staff versus when you have a group like Stray Kids or BTS, when they're all adults. There's probably more responsibilities and shit that the members themselves have to deal with because they are adults and because they are better equipped to be able to deal with them versus people that are younger than them. I'm not going to sit here and think that a 15-year-old is going to be handed the same responsibilities that Bangchan is handed. Okay, let's go over the positives. And I don't even want to say it playing devil's advocate because I'm not playing devil's advocate. There's not just it's bad and then there's nothing else and fuck everything else. No, because there's shit that has changed and there's shit that's now better that I want to talk about. I was actually going to say when I first wrote this video that I think there should be a age limit to when a idol should debut, but then I thought about it and I was like, wait a second. I don't want a 11-year-old, let's say 11, 12, 13-year-old coming in, training for 5 years, and then watching their friends come and go, getting lonely, maybe forming a mental illness and having to deal with that, and losing all hope to becoming an idol. Like, I just feel like that is also one of the problems, that things that can happen, things that a lot of these idols can deal with. And I don't want someone so young to deal with it. Hi, me and Chen just wanted to add one more thing. I didn't want to make it seem like if you were above the age of 16, you could deal with all of the things that the trainees have to go through and be completely fine. I'm saying that you have people, still teenagers, that are older, like 17, 18, and the fact that it does take such a huge toll on them and they're dealing with this at such a young age. Imagine an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old dealing with this shit. That sounds awful. I also want to clarify something else because I feel like my point didn't come across as clear as I wanted it to. So, one, I don't think an 11-year-old should be debuting. Dear fucking God. When I was talking about, should there be an age limit, right? Like there should be an age limit to when idols should debut. Talking about this video, black and white, I agree, but then to an extent, I can understand why there isn't. I hope someone can fully explain what I'm trying to explain. So, for example, let's say you get into this K-pop idol program at 13 years old and they come out with a law and it says that you cannot debut as an idol until you're 17. I feel like if you are 13 and you know that you can't debut as an idol until you're 17, the entire process is going to be completely dragged out. I mean, there are so many people who train to be an idol, and because it took so long and it was such a rigorous process being dragged out for years, by the time they turned 16 or 17 or whatever, they didn't even want to do it anymore. They, like what I was saying earlier in this video, I'm really tossing you around, I'm sorry. Chan somewhere is like this right now. Like I was saying earlier in the video about just like losing all motivation and hope and love for wanting to do it. I feel like if there is like, you can't do this until you're 17, I feel like that might happen. So, but then again, I also I took out a whole section about this video. I was going to add talking about creepy fans. That's a can of worms that I don't even want to open. And here is a video that while editing this, I found this video. Go watch this video. Great video. And he ended up talking about that and he expressed that point very clearly. This entire video is just a lot. I also understand why you start them young. I started dancing when I was 5 years old. When you are a parent and your kid is 5, I feel like 5 is the time, well, when they go into school too, unless they're doing like pre-care shit. And this is also just coming from an American, but you throw a bunch of shit and you see which shit sticks. Put your kid in soccer. Does your kid like soccer? No, they got hit in the face with a ball 8 times. Dance. Your kid has shit turn out, that's fine. How about drawing? Your kid likes drawing, cool. And then by the time they grow up, they're already incredibly good at it. I was told that you want to start, I've been told from dance teachers, my dance teachers and dance teachers in general, that you want to start your kid off in dance at a young age because like doing things like turnout and a lot of the moves for being a dancer goes against what our bodies naturally do. So you're like, with repetition, you're reshaping the way your body is, if that makes sense. I also looked up Korea's child labor laws because that was also something that I was thinking about. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure the industry has changed from like 2014 to how it is now. And, if you don't want to take my word for it, that's fine. I'm not a K-pop idol. Take RM's word for it. The interviewer asked, does the system dehumanize? RM says, my company doesn't like how I answer this question because I admit it in part. And then the journalists throw up their hands saying, it's a horrible system. It destroys young people. But it's partly what makes this such a special industry. And things have improved a lot in terms of contracts, money, education. Now there are teachers and psychologists, ... other stuff. Like I said, the RM agreeing with me, baby. Shit has changed. Shit has changed for the better. Obviously, like he admitted to, there are still a shit ton of problems, but there's a lot of progress that's being made. And I think it would be incredibly unfair of me to hold the same K-pop industry from 10 years ago up to, well, I think if it was like that 10 years ago, is that how it's like now? Obviously not. I guess my only thing is that's still like an incredible concern is let's not write adult songs that imply sex for non-adults. Let's not do that because that's gross. So, okay. Goodbye.